Last time on Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater. Feisty half-elf Morgan tried to escape her drow captors and her imminent death, until her friends reappeared and unleashed Dangy's dragon against the drow and her followers. They managed to defeat most of them, but faced a summoned spirit as they tried to flee. Now we join some other adventurers as Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater continues. Alec Holland and Jacques Arbray are in the Velox secret lair in the city of Arabane. They have just...
Very difficult to find.
Yeah, very difficult to find if you're not part of the Velox. But you guys are there, you've just pulled off a successful liquor heist, and are now preparing for whatever you guys are going to do next. Possibly a jailbreak or attend a rally. I know you guys have discussed several different things, but...
Sure life. I say this to him. I whisper, okay, I whisper to you, you should go talk to my brother and see if we can get some help on him. See how it's
I just need to get my mom. So. Yeah. I mean, also, I care deeply about cause.
Okay. Where do you want to do the rally?
Well, the rally's not till later, so we probably do both, right?
Hey, knock them both out in one day, why not?
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want. It's your life.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's go talk to my brother.
Sounds great.
Okay, we're gonna go talk to my brother.
Alright, you find your brother actually teaching a class full of younger kitsune the finer arts of pickpocketing to survive on the streets of Arabane. And he stops the class when you walk in and says, "Oh, here's my brother! Class, I'd like you to meet Jacques."
I go, class!
They say, "Hello, Mr. Jacques."
I go, hello, what did you do today?
They say, "Today we learn how to steal coin purse."
I think I dare you to take my purse.
Alright, roll me a perception check.
I immediately grab my coin purse and hold it in my chest.
I roll an natural 20, seriously.
Alright, so you catch a kitsune trying to steal your coin purse.
Chop him in the neck.
I'm gonna go, no, little one. Let him go. Because now I have an accent now.
Yeah.
When you're around your brother, you revert.
Yeah, you revert to the way you used to talk.
Yeah.
So you school that little kid. He's still got something to learn.
Kid.
Yeah.
Never make it a real one.
Yeah, and Jean dismisses the children and says, go practice in the streets, children. Let me talk to my brother.
Alright,
They
I
all
want
leave.
to tell John about me and Bobby's plan about possibly infiltrating the rally.
Who is this Bobby?
Oh, this guy.
Bobby.
Big Rock Man, Alec Collins.
This is Alec Holland.
Oh yes, it's the Oread.
You made me steal beer for him. So, how you knew him?
I didn't know such thing.
It was the old guy that was the old man.
Well, never mind. This guy's, he's with us.
Oh, I know. He was the one I sent you to help with this jailbreak.
Okay.
From earlier.
Yeah. So jailbreak?
What about it?
We're gonna do it. I got him.
Well, can we do it? Would you like to do a rally / jailbreak mashup? Skrillex.
I mean, they've been...
I really like this idea of the mashup.
Okay. Well, we want to get a couple people to help us out with both. Is that possible?
I tell you what, you have to ask around the Velox to see if you get any volunteers.
Okay.
All right, you can roll me a charisma check.
That diplomacy. I know I'm very personable.
Yeah. I'm sure I can recruit someone.
I guess 16.
All right, roll me 1d4.
Here's my default.
You want to try? Do you want to try one, Bobby?
Yeah, Bob. Chris?
Worst thing happens, you fail.
16.
All right, you can also roll a d4,
Cool.
and then add those two numbers together, and that's how many people are willing to go with you.
15. So they each have one.
2.
All right, so 2 total. So you convinced 2 kitsune to come along with you.
Okay. What's their names?
Jacques. It says, "My name is Jim," and the other one says, "My name is also Jim."
Jim 1 and Jim 2.
No, we prefer you don't call us Jim 1 and Jim 2. It's Jim and also Jim.
I'm Jim A and I am jump 1.
Okay, let's do it. How do you want to go about this? Let us discuss our plans, I say too.
Oui.
Okay, so if there's going to be an execution, if we save people from being executed, that's more people to help break out. Or it could go the other way around. That might be easier because there's going to be more people watching the execution. So let's do prison break first, and then, because there's going to be like 1 million people watching the execution. Okay? We?
Oui?
Oui.
All right. So you guys decide to do what first? The jailbreak or the execution?
Jailbreak.
Jailbreak. So it's not much of a jail. It's just those holding cells like you guys saw before underneath the courtroom. It's not really much of a jail. It's just one entrance, one exit, a couple of small cells that they usually just hold people in until they can execute them. So they don't really believe in much of the idea of a jail as much as they do just holding cells. So it's a pretty simple scheme. Not hard to get into. The hardest part will be getting into the courthouse and past all the guards there, which there are several. And let me see how many there are in there right now. There you can see rolling perception check. If you guys are around the courthouse, you guys kind of know the area. I assume you guys are all in human form.
Yeah, that's like human. Guys. Human guys. Natural 1.
Ugh, you don't notice anything. What you got there, Jacques?
1 second. 19.
All right, yeah, you're able to see a large number of guards in the area. They seem like a bunch of larger human dudes. They seem like a bunch of really racist kitsune hunting motherfuckers. They seemed armed to the teeth, and they don't seem nice, and there seem to be at least 13 of them from what you can see in the area.
Okay.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Alright.
Brian, where's Kit in all of this?
That's a good question.
He would. I'm just saying because like he would recognize Jacques.
He
So if
would.
he saw Jacques trying to do
Also,
something.
he met Jacques in kitsune form, not in human form, and
Oh yeah.
maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't, and that's a whole lot of ifs. If he's in the same area when Jacques walks by, don't worry, it'll happen when it happens. If what I want it to happen.
Kit's just such a fool.
I know. Don't worry, story will reflect that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just trying to figure out what we're doing.
Oh, I know. But you're also standing around the street suspiciously, talking about it.
Walk up. I'm in my fucking human guys. I've got an extra cask of ale from the last game we played. I'm gonna bust out with these guys. Like, hey, I'm trying to pregame for this execution later. I've got way too much alcohol. And drinking alone is not as much fun as it used to be. Would you guys care to join me?
So you're trying to break it out to some of the guards?
Yeah.
All right, so you kind of walk up to the courthouse and say, I got some extra ale. You guys want to drink some ale?
Yeah.
All right, roll me a diplomacy check with that.
Plus, I don't have bonus. 13.
All right, they ask you to please move along.
While this is going on, I want to look at the other kitsune. Go like this. Kind of like casually. No, not, yeah. Clean my face. Like a crazy, I don't remember clean my
You got something in your beard. I got it.
Yeah. And then move out in different directions and start to like walk this way.
All right, so roll me a either a bluff check or a stealth check to send a secret message to these guys with your beard touching.
I'm gonna roll stealth. 24.
All right, I'll consider that a good attempt to pass a secret message. And let me roll a sense motive to see if they understand what your secret message is. I rolled high enough so they do get your secret message and they fan out.
Sweet. Cool.
Okay, I'm like, are you sure you guys don't want to drink? I got enough for everyone.
They say we can't drink when we're on duty. It's part of our sacred oath.
You got out of respect to that. I'm on duty right now, too. You know,
They laugh at your poop joke.
okay.
And they say, have a nice night, sir. Please move along.
Is it a very populated area? Can I blend in with the crowd with a stealth check?
In this courtyard area, the crowd is sort of to one side of the court. There's a courtyard next to the court, which is where the execution is taking place, and that's where the larger part of the crowd is. The courthouse, where the holding cells are underneath, is mostly just guards that are in there right now. No other kind of tourist activity. Most of the tourists and other kind of people are kind of concentrated either at this execution or at their little shops and taverns and things like that. Nowhere else kind of near this area.
Is there anywhere that I could kind of duck away for a moment, like without being noticeable?
I mean, you could probably try to duck into that crowd at the execution and pop in and pop back out, but you might be noticed by one or two people. Yeah, you could duck into that crowd and duck back out, but you might be noticed by whoever's in that crowd if you do something in that crowd or change shape in that crowd or anything like that.
Okay.
I mean, I get a little perception check because there are people there, but it's crowded there, and you're more likely to notice something there than you are here, where the guards can see you. You're plainly like four guys kind of walking around near the court for no reason right now.
Yeah.
So.
Bobby's like Friar tucking it, trying to just like get people shots out of the barrel.
Is there any way I could stealth check into the crowd without being
You got a pretty high stealth. You could probably roll it. Roll it for me.
natural 20?
Yeah, you're able to sneak into the crowd without bumping into anybody. Just kind of move with the crowd.
Thank you. I want to slip my ring on.
All right, you go invisible as you enter the crowd. I don't think anyone's gonna notice. No one notices.
Okay. I take 3 damage, mind you.
Okay, that's fair.
And I want to come back out of the crowd. Start working my way towards the guards.
All right.
Or try to sneak around them.
All right, roll me a stealth check to sneak back up to the courthouse.
20.
All right, so you're able to sneak back up to the steps of the courthouse, where there are 2 guards near the large entrance. It's kind of like an archway with a bunch of columns and stuff. But it's wide open archway, and there's just these 2 guards there. And they haven't noticed you yet.
Is there any way I can acrobatics around them while in stealth? Kind of climb up and then...
Yeah, you want to try and do some Assassin's Creed stuff and climb a wall and do some parkour. Got it. So yeah, you want to parkour the wall, roll me an acrobatics, and then a stealth to stay quiet while you do so.
A 19 on acrobatics. And my stealth was 16. Actually, really low.
Yeah. So you are able to climb up the wall a little bit, not enough to go over it or to swing underneath the archway. And you do, upon climbing the wall, knock a pebble free and attract some of the attention of the guards. Did you hear that? What's that?
I just want to freeze.
Freeze, you can just freeze. Alright, the pebble moves. They look around. They don't see anything, but they're definitely on heightened alert right now.
Don't fart.
Okay.
Roll me a percentage chance to see if you fart.
No, damn it.
It's Will's birthday. He said it. I'm sorry.
Do a clench check. Yeah, exactly. Clench them.
I rolled 10%.
Okay, that means you are going to fart, but I'll let you roll a strength check to hold it in, if you want. But it might come back to bite you later.
I rolled a 18.
Alright, so you clench your butt cheeks enough to hold in a fart. But you feel the gas in your stomach. You're like, oh, I wish I could fart.
I gotta stop talking.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna...
Shadow fart.
I'm just gonna hold there for a second while they're kind of looking around.
Alright.
What are you doing?
I kind of want to go get people liquored up. I'm moseying away from them. I just want to go towards the... How far away is the perception check to see how far away the hangman is from the front of the house? I got 15.
Alright, so the courtyard is about the same size as the courthouse. So it's a pretty large area, and the hangman's noose is on a platform towards the back of this area. You guys are towards the front. So you guys are at the back of the crowd, really. So you're the farthest away from the stage you can be. So you'd have to get through a lot of people to get to the stage. And it's about 100 feet from one side to the other.
To the gallows.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess I can't really do much here. I'm gonna go try to get people liquored up at the hanging, because I feel like that'd be
All right, so you head towards the crowd of people at the hanging. You can start getting them drunk towards the back of the crowd and try to work your way towards the front if you want as you're passing out drinks. Usually a guy with a cask of ale is people will let you push forward a little bit. All right, so we'll say that you're walking through the crowd with a big cask of ale under one arm, passing out drinks to people, and they're letting you slowly slip to the front of the audience. We'll give you time to let that happen. Jacques?
When we get people good and liquored up,
Well,
time.
your other two Kitsune guys are kind of milling about in the area, but they're not. They don't know what to do. They haven't gotten any orders. They're just kind of like hanging out, waiting for any kind of instruction. But you've of course vanished, and he's walked into the crowd with liquor, so they're just kind of standing around twiddling their thumbs at this point.
If I can, I'd like to look at Scott Frank and just be like, go over there. Like,
All right, but he's invisible, so they have nothing to look at.
but the other two Kitsune, they're not invisible, are they?
No.
Okay,
They can't see him.
Okay, let's go with those guys. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, where are you pointing him
The
somewhere?
other two Kitsune. I can be like, go towards.
You want to tell Scott, but how?
No, I'm telling my two Kitsune.
There's only 2 total.
Oh, I thought we had 4.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
what do y'all have? Y'all both dead for one each. Yeah, we have one each.
It's all coming together. Okay, well, I'm going to Jim A. Yeah.
He can't see me though.
But you can see Jim 1.
Yeah. I'm just chill.
You're sitting them back together. Is that what you're saying? Tell them to regroup. You're like, regroup.
Yeah.
2 gyms together. Got it.
I'm going to focus on getting everyone hampered here.
All right, yeah, you give the signal to get the 2 gyms back together. They kind of regroup and hang out near the front of the courthouse, we'll assume.
Yeah.
Near the edge of the crowd. Just keeping an eye out for any trouble.
Yeah. So they would be like, just keep an eye out over here. Like, in case shit does go down.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna wait a second, and then I'm gonna jump to the other side of the wall.
All right, so you're trying to like jump, like swing on the rafter and like go over their heads or something, or from above? Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do.
All right, so you swing from above over their heads, roll me an acrobatics to land that, and then roll me a stealth to do it silently.
First one is a 19.
All right, decent acrobatics.
Second one is stealth. 24.
All right, so yeah, you're able to duck and roll out of it silently, making only a little noise. They kind of spin around to see, but since you're invisible, plus your good stealth, they
I don't
don't.
want to release my farts and we start arguing who did it.
Yeah. All right, you fart. They do start arguing who did it. They blaming one another. They start the old "he who smelt it dealt it" routine. So yeah, they don't know who farted. You snuck by and snuck in a fart. Very good.
Crop dusting.
Yeah. Now there are about 11 guards still in this interior courtroom area. It's kind of a large hall with lots of seating, and like a large judge's booth at the end. And behind that is the stairway that leads down into the holding cell that holds prisoners until they can be executed.
Okay. Is there kind of a straight shot that I could, like, slowly crawl through to the judge's booth?
Yeah, I mean, like, there are 2 aisles of seats, and you're kind of in between those 2 aisles of seats, so yeah, you can just crawl straight down the front aisle. Like, so there's a couple of guards milling about, but as long as you maintain your stealth, you should be fine.
Yeah.
So I can assume you can maintain a pretty high stealth if you are willing to take a 20 on it and just be sneaky as fuck for as long as possible.
Yeah.
So it might take you a while to get to the front of the courtroom, but you do. But just about the time you make it to the front of the courtroom, Alec Holland makes it to the front of the crowd. In the hangman's noose, you see a teenage kitsune.
Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
And he's begging for his life, and the crowd's cheering. But yeah, he's scheduled to die any moment. They're just waiting to hang him.
Is that kid?
No, but it could be.
Okay.
And it might be later.
Brian, no.
Can't tell you that.
You can tell them that.
I can't. I'm invisible. No one can see me. And I'm inside the courthouse.
Yeah, he can't see any of this. He doesn't know this is going on.
Yeah.
But there's a young kitsune, teenage kitsune, about to get hung.
Cool. So Jim A is still watching now. I can tell him to kind of be like, they're armed, right?
The kitsune that you brought with you, yeah, they're armed very well. They have like daggers and stuff. I mean, they're mostly pickpockets and thieves. So they're not like carrying great swords or anything, but they've got daggers on them.
Daggers.
Possibly hand crossbows.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, if I can, I'm just gonna be like,
Are you trying to wave them toward the front of the crowd? They're in the back of the crowd, so it's going to take them a while to get up the front where you are, especially without alcohol to hand out.
Yeah.
So they see you waving them forward, but they have trouble getting to the crowd, so you know it's going to take them a while to get up to the front where you are. But they are working their way towards you.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna
Create a distraction.
Exactly. That's
all right. I'm gonna start walking. I'm gonna make a beeline out towards the side of the crowd. So I'm taking a hard left.
All right.
Am I almost out?
Yeah, you're toward the front of the stage, so it's easy for you to beeline to the left because you're pretty close to the front. People don't mind letting you out when you're in the front, so.
Cool. I'm gonna pop my robe of human guys off.
All right.
Real quick. So I'm big old rock alcohol again.
All right, you startle some of the weaker-minded folk in the front of the crowd.
I'm gonna make a pop shot at the rope, and then I'm gonna run.
All right.
Whoa.
Okay. So that's 16 plus 4, 7, 20 on the rope.
All right, so we'll consider that a hit on the rope. Roll the damage on it, see if it breaks.
Brian, that's Kit's friend, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a 2.
All right, so he is now hanging. You've managed to fray the rope. It is split some, but not totally torn. So he's now dangling by his neck, but halfway. The string's only halfway hanging on, but he's still choking to death.
But swinging around.
He is swinging around and flailing, and the rope is halfway broken.
Well, I'm just gonna bolt because I'm a giant rat monster. I'm gonna go for the nearest alley.
All right, the guards see you and recognize you as an escapee and as the guy implicated in the murder of Ronnie Dragonslayer. So they of course alert the rest of the guards that of your presence and point you out. You're easy to recognize in this crowd, of course, now that you're a rock man. And 9 guards come chasing after you, trying to follow you to the other end of the crowd.
Is there like a perception check for alleys or anywhere I can run down, hide? Yeah, so 13 in perception.
All right, so around here, this is a pretty open area. There are a couple shops you can maybe try to hide behind, or there's the bar.
Yeah, I want to hide.
Kind of like touristy and guide shops.
Throw my human guys back on and just keep on running.
All right, so you duck in between some of these shops and throw back on your robe and keep running. Let's see if any of these guys follow you. You are able to lose 2 of them, but 7 of them are still following you, even though they see you put on the cloak and they still maintain pursuit.
I guess I just gotta keep on running and out of town. That's my only option right now.
All right, so you try to flee all the way outside of town. I'll roll a percentage chance, see if that works. All right. Is your base speed still 30?
20.
20? They're going to have no trouble catching you.
Yeah.
So before you can get to the outside of the skirts of the city, there's going to be seven guards surrounding you, right before you are able to leave the touristy district of town.
All right, I surrender myself, I guess, because that's all I can do.
All right, you surrender. They put you in chains and take you back into toward the courtyard where the execution is going on. You see that another teenage kitsune, after you shot the rope, another teenage kitsune had leapt on stage and tried to finish the job, and is now being taken into custody. That's Kit.
Oh my god.
And so now his friend is being executed in front of him. His friend Todd is now dead. And he had to watch it. He watched Todd Bratt get killed in front of him, his best friend, and now he's being dragged away to a holding cell, same place as you are, as Jock is trying to break into them. Jock, you're still inside. They're a little ahead of time on you right now, so you got to catch back up to them. So you got things to do before they show up. So go ahead.
Oh my god, Kit's gonna be like
okay.
black now.
I'm gonna go to the holding cells behind the.
All right, roll me a stealth check to sneak down the stairs. Sure, you're fine, especially invisible.
26.
All right, that's pretty stealthy. You're able to sneak downstairs. You see 2 rows of cages that seem to hold 1 or 2 prisoners each.
Can I systematically go to each one and check out the lock on it?
Yeah, I mean, they all seem to be locked. So,
Okay.
but yeah.
Can I disable the device on them?
Yeah, you can do them 1 at a time if you like, or you can take a 20 and try to do all of them if you want to try and take your time down here.
Yeah, I'll take a 20. I'll take my time.
All right, you'll take a 20 and take your time. So it's going to take you about 2 hours to undo all of them.
Oh my god. No, yeah, I can't do that. That's
But you're invisible, right?
yeah.
I mean, you tell me. You can roll it; it's faster. But if you're taking
Yeah,
a
I'll
20,
roll
if
it.
you're taking a 20, you're slowing. You're taking your, as most time as possible to do a good job. So,
Roll unlock.
Okay, I'll roll it.
all right. So you're rolling on the first one.
Okay.
There are 20.
Wow. 27.
All right, that's enough to open the first cage,
Okay.
which has one kitsune.
Okay, I'll do the second one.
Kit, yay!
That's not Kit. He's not there yet. Not that easy, Liz. It's never that easy.
21.
All right, you're able to open the second one. Another kitsune free.
Can I whisper to them that each kitsune is wait 1 moment to open the gate so we can all go all at
So you're telling them not to go upstairs as soon as you free them.
Yeah, I want to tell them to wait a second.
All right, roll me a diplomacy check on the first two. Twice. Let's roll it twice.
My first one, 20.
All right, the first one doesn't leave.
The other one was 22.
All right, second one doesn't leave.
All right, next
They
one.
wait. Yep.
Oh, 13.
Yeah, you can't. You seem to not be able to open the third lock on your first try.
I'll try again.
All right. 21.
Yep.
All right, so that opens it. Roll diplomacy to ask them to stay.
Yep.
Another kitsune?
Yep.
It's gonna take forever.
I'm trying to get as many people as possible.
You should get the other kitsune to try and open the locks.
15.
15.
Yeah.
All right, this one seems a little more hesitant to want to stay around. You see him kind of
I got reassured.
inching towards the door.
Be like, just a moment, just a moment.
All right, roll.
Has he seen how quick I'm doing it? Like the doors are like.
All right, roll me another diplomacy with see how quick I'm doing it.
19 that time.
All right, he says I can't see a thing, but if you hurry, I'll wait as long as I can, but I don't want to get executed.
Okay.
So please hurry.
Okay, I'll try the next one.
All right, door 5.
That one's 29.
All right, you open that lock just fine.
Get them to help you, Scott. They're all just standing around doing nothing.
Do you ask this guy to stay also?
Yes, I
All
would.
right, roll it.
20.
All right, he stays.
Okay.
15 more to go.
Alright, I'm gonna be like, alright, on second thought, that was a bad idea. Guys, help me. Here's some lockpicks.
All right, so you pass out some lockpicks. Most of these kitsune are from the Velox. Most of them know how to pick locks, so if you have extra lockpicks, they'll be able to help you. So you now have 5 free, so you'll be able to go 5 times as fast. So now, every time you roll once, I'll let you open 5 for the one roll you roll.
Okay.
So you could be able to do this in
3 rounds.
3 rounds, yeah.
First one, 24.
All right, so the first one you're able to get the next 5 open. You want to convince all 5 of those people to stay?
No, how about
All right. Roll it.
Finish it off right here.
20, natural.
All right, they all agree to help.
That's it.
Oof.
All right, so we'll assume you're able to get the third part of the cage open. And this happens all very quickly. This is probably the fastest prison break that anyone's ever had without dynamite involved. So, in a matter of moments, you have all these cages open and all these kitsune ready to flee.
And?
That's all.
Oh, man. No monkeys.
No monkeys. Just kitsune.
Who were you thinking would be there?
Alec was looking for his ape companion that was stuck there. But since he's gone, it's not there anymore.
Huh.
I wish I had extra weapons to do that. Okay, let's go, guys.
You would know that some of their gear would be held upstairs, but you also know that there are 13 guards waiting upstairs, and these kitsune aren't invisible like you.
And they look like kitsune.
And they do look like, well, a lot of them could turn into human form, but it's still they're coming out of the holding cell area. These guards aren't that dumb.
I know, if they like make it out into the street though.
Well, yeah, they might be okay then, but we'll go ahead and assume they all get into human form. But as soon as you go up the stairs, some of them are going to get recaught and rearrested. Even if some of them get away, you can assume that at least 10 of them are going to get busted.
Would be a nice diversion if there's executions what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna try to cause a diversion, I guess.
Alright, so you're invisible. You sneak back up the staircase.
Yeah.
Alright, you sneak back up the staircase.
While I'm invisible, can I turn into Vashkinya form?
Yeah?
And I want to start to make my way towards the exit.
Alright, so towards the front entrance of the court.
Yeah, and be like, you'll know when to come out. I want to tell all of them that. Like,
Alright, so they're staying underground in the holding cell downstairs. And you're going upstairs and then 100 feet away to the front entrance invisibly, and they'll just know whenever it's time.
yeah, well, I'm going to try to cause a distraction.
Alright, so hopefully it'll be enough destruction they'll notice it. Alright. So you're near the front entrance where those two guards are by the door. Let me roll a perception to see if anyone notices you. They still don't notice you stealthing around, so you're fine.
Okay. Can I jump the wall?
I mean, there's a roof, so no, but you can climb the columns again and swing over their heads in the archway.
Okay, that's right. Shit. Can I try to fart again?
Yes, but you'll be forcing a fart. Roll me... What do you roll? Roll me a strength check to try and fart. That's fine.
D20, it's a total spray bomb.
If you roll a 20, you shart yourself.
That's a 1.
No.
No, I didn't get it. It was 11.
Oh, so you didn't fart? Sorry, dog.
So this was a bad idea.
Was the fart really your plan? Was your plan the fart? That can't have been your whole plan.
Scott Frank rolls a 1, he pops a blood vessel in his eye.
Alright. Can I use my only hero point to go backwards in time and erase everything I just did?
How far backwards would you like to go?
To me being like, I'm gonna go outside and fart.
So,
Let's just stealth back in.
alright, we'll just assume that...
Damn straight.
I'll let you use the hero point to assume you never went upstairs if you want.
Yeah.
Alright, so you're still downstairs with your 20 Kitsune.
Yeah, let's go, guys. Let's get the fuck out of town.
Alright, so they're just going to follow your invisible voice up the stairs. Alright, in a big crowd, they all storm upstairs. The guards panic because there's 20 Kitsune on the loose. So you're invisible, what do you do? Do you just flee, or do you help fight, or what's going on?
How many guards are there? There's 13?
13.
There's 17 unarmed Kitsune.
Yeah.
20.
It might be,
20, yeah.
You don't know how good their sleights of hand are, or if they can grapple well.
Yeah.
Agent type shit, you grab the weapons from the guards, they could be special agents locked up. Or they could just be...
Can we, are all the guards' backs, like, against us right now?
No, as soon as you guys charged up the stairs, I mean, they were kind of milling about, walking around in the air. They weren't just, like, facing outward. And as soon as these Kitsune come charging up the stairs, they A, heard it, B, saw it, and turned to look at it, you know. They're aware of what's going on.
I guess I'll lose an arrow at one.
Alright. Roll. You're invisible, so I'm going to give you a sneak attack on him, but...
This is a bad idea.
It's not as
You
bad
guys
as...
never should have parted ways.
Look, you don't know bad ideas until you listen to what Pat did in the last game. Just watch The Hateful Eight. Brian knows the scene I'm talking about. Pat reenacted it in the fucking bar. I'm gonna shoot this guy and be an asshole about
I'm going
it.
to shoot everyone.
Shoot him 4 times, Pat, he's already dead.
23.
That's a hit.
This is a bad idea.
So counter it, you're just like, hey, I'm down the hole, guys.
11. Yeah, just 11.
11?
Yeah.
Alright. They continue to fight the Kitsune that have tried to escape. You've hurt one of them, though. They don't know where that arrow came from, but they continue to attack the Kitsune that they can see. And try to recapture them.
Can I try to pop another shot off? Can I move and try to pop another shot off?
Yeah, at the same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not while moving, but you know, like.
Yeah, move and then shoot.
And,
Yeah, or vice versa. Yeah, that's fine. So to not give away your location.
Yeah. That's a 27.
All right. That's a hit.
10. To the
Yeah.
same guy.
All right.
And then I want to move, of course.
All right. As you do this, in walks what looks to be the leader of the Central Guard. He's got a lot of stars pinned on his chest. Looks like a pretty large guy with a really big forehead and big ears. Kind of like a dead-eye stare. His hair's like slick and combed back. He immediately pulls out a shotgun and aims it in your direction. Yeah, that's going to be a 33 versus your AC.
Yeah, he hits me.
All right. That does 26 damage to you. It's a Kitsune Bane one, so it does 26 damage to you. Oh, wait, plus 2d6. I'm sorry, so more than that. Plus 11. So 37.
Wow.
37 shotgun damage.
Ow.
Get the fuck out of there, man. Oh,
Fuck shot.
As this
All right.
leader of the guard yells, "Kill all the Kitsune! Just kill them before they flee!" And all the guards start just slaughtering the Kitsune they were trying to escape instead of locking them back up.
Wow.
I'm blowing it.
Wait, can I flee?
You can flee.
Yeah.
You're bleeding now, so you're going to leave a trail. And he's going to try and follow you.
Okay, is there any way I can mend it with my robe?
You can do a heal check.
I didn't heal myself very well. It was an 8.
Alright, so yeah, you're still bleeding. You try to stuff some cloth over and that slows it so it's harder to...
I want to, like, turn a corner and, like, take my ring off and turn and look like the Vashkinian.
Okay, you do. You're still bleeding, but you do look like a Vishkanyan, or, you know. You still have a shotgun wound on your chest.
Okay, well, I'm just going to book it.
Alright, you book it. To where are you booking it?
Not out of town. I guess we gotta, like, get out.
Right now. I'm just currently building down.
Is it, can I, like, flee into the woods or anything?
And the woods are pretty far away from here. You'd have to flee through the outer ring of town, then the outskirts, and then through the city wall, like the gate to the wilderness, and then there's a couple-hour walk to the forest where you grew up. Roll me a perception check as you're fleeing.
Like, 18.
You do see, as you're fleeing, Alec Holland and your nephew Kit being taken into custody as you're fleeing.
Not Kit!
And you do see that the leader of the guard is still tracking you. He's following the blood spurts on the ground and looking around to see where you're hiding. So he's still tracking you. You feel like you don't have much time before you need to flee more. Before he finds out where you are.
Okay, well then Not Kit!
I will say you're able to slow the bleeding some, so it'll be harder to track you, but you need to move.
Yeah, I'm gonna move, obviously.
Okay.
Pretty simple game. Yeah, I gotta get out of there.
Alright. Where do you go to?
Not that Kitsune hideout.
Do you just flee the center part of town and maybe go to the... Okay, between
Yeah,
the center and the outskirts is kind of like the working man's part of town, kind of everyday people. You might be able to find there's some, what you would know, your brother mentioned turncoats before. So there are some humans there that are willing to help Kitsune or non-normal human races. So you might find a sympathizer there, but you also might find a racist, non-humanoid hater. You have a 50-50 chance there of meeting someone nice or someone mean.
I'm gonna head in that direction. Hope
Alright.
the waiting kind of stops.
I said you're able to slow it so you'll be harder to track, but not impossible to track. So you've made it to this middle ring of the city, where kind of it's the working class part of the city, where normal people kind of live. But you are still bleeding and trying to hide that you're bleeding. You are still being tracked, although the tracking has slowed down a little bit, so he's not on your tail as close as he was. But there are some people like doing yard work and it's kind of normal.
Can I start going from roof to roof so it's harder for me to track?
Yeah, you can try to climb. Roll me a climb check, but -2 because you're injured.
19.
All right, you're injured, but you're still managed to climb up the side of one of these smaller houses. You're on the roof of someone's house right now. Roll me a stealth check to not, bang around on the roof and stuff. Sure, you're fine.
25. Yeah.
-2 is still fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're up on a roof.
Jump from roof to roof, kind of make it so it'd be harder for him to be like where I went.
Yeah,
like,
to try to throw him off the scent, basically.
Yeah.
All right, I like that idea. Roll me a couple acrobatics checks for how many roofs you want to jump, and every roof you jump, I'll lower the percentage chance he can find you.
Okay.
-2, of course.
First one's 21.
All right.
Second one is 19.
Okay.
And the third one is a 13.
All right, so you almost slip and miss the third jump. Like your foot almost comes off and you fall forward, but you catch yourself, just barely. And now for my percentage chance. You see the leader of the guard kind of wandering in the city now from your perch, but he seems to have lost track of you. But he definitely thinks you're in the area, and he's still lurking around the area with a couple of guards. So you're hiding on this roof, and he is down below in the street with 4 guards in this area, kind of wandering around looking for you.
Can I try to jump like a little further away and just wait it out, watch him from a distance, and whenever he gets close, continue to move? He can't see me.
No, he can't. But he's got really high perception, so it's very likely if you move, he'll be able to hear you. But you can try.
Okay. Well, let me just sit there for a second and see if just be still.
All right, so they start knocking on some doors, asking some questions. No one's really seen anything, of course. No one's heard anything, luckily. But he stations a couple guards. He decides to leave finally, but he does station a couple guards in the area to keep an eye out. And now they're on the lookout for an invisible kitsune. He says he's going back to the courthouse to check records. He thinks he's heard of a criminal that matches this description. He's going to check his wanted posters and see if he can figure out who it is and if he can, track him down.
A terrorist shadow box.
Yeah. So he has 4 guards posted in the area, but he's left. So you feel like now you can probably sneak away because they don't seem to be as good a hunter as he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to sneak away back to Jean.
All right, you sneak back to Big Jean at the Velok's lair.
And tell him everything that happened, and I apologize. I fucked up, man.
He says, that the last 50 years you've been losing your edge? What happened? Many of my good men got killed. What were you thinking? You cannot hold in a fart?
It's a weird jump.
So he's upset, but he's like, hey, you tried, I don't know, but now we have a bigger problem.
I suggest that maybe we should go talk to our sister. The shit they're doing to our people here, it's terrible. Maybe they can help us. He just killed.
He says, oh, you mean Roge?
Yeah.
She says, oh, she is dead, mother, now. There's no way we could talk her into leaving the forest.
I gotta find Juan. Juan will help.
He says, oh, little sister Juan. Yeah, she was always quite the activist. With her on our side, surely we could free Kit and our new Ariad friend, who I'm sure you told him were also being captured when you left. So,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
he said,
I want to show him my wound and be like, I'm bleeding all over the place.
yeah, he'll get some guys to help heal you up. So they have guys there with heal kits, so you'll be fine. They'll bandage you up, stop your bleeding, all that stuff. So you're not bleeding anymore.
Okay.
You've been heal checked. He says that the kid that was captured, Todd Brack, had recently joined the Velox and was arrested on some minor nuisance crimes. This is like stealing some bread or something.
Or like Aladdin.
Yeah. And that was the crime he was being hung for. That was the crime he was being hung for, and Kit must have been in town. That he didn't even know Kit was in town, but now he does. He must have seen his childhood friend getting hung and felt the need to intercede. But now you know he's also in prison with his Oriad. And no one else, apparently, because everyone else that was there is probably slaughtered. So they're probably the only 2 people in the holding cell right now.
I think you need to blow up the wall. Blow up the prison wall.
It's
It
underground.
worked last time.
This is so destructive.
Yeah, this is crazy now.
Level up this, murder that.
Alright, well, can I rest? Because I just
They're racist humans. I don't like it.
Yeah, he'll let you. You can rest here at the Velox Lair, and we can leave you there to rest and contemplate your life.
Yeah.
As Oriad Alec Holland finds himself in a cell, or two cells away from Kit Arbre. They've left some space in between you and this young Kitsune. You saw try to rescue his friend, and now you're both locked up down there. And now I can go to Vortiga,
Oh yay!
who finds herself with a very bad headache, waking up in the mountains of West Linya, near her hometown, or near where her home fort used to be. She grew up in a hobgoblin family, and their garrison is constantly moving. They kind of move their town around the mountains as they see fit to hunt and things like that. They move their camp. But this is kind of the area around where Vortiga was born, near the Vouvre Lair, near Devates, that kind of area. And that's where Vortiga finds herself now in one of the valleys of the West Linya Mountains, of Northwest Linya.
Alright, so I'm in Northwest Linya. Am I near the Cobalt Village?
You are, Devatesh, you're very near there. Of course, you have a burning red mark on your arm now in the shape of a ring of fire, or a crown of fire, which is the mark of judgment. So, you have all kind of mixed feelings about that, I'm sure.
Well, I have a heal kit. Can I try and cut the mark off of my skin?
You can?
Let me just look real quick. It's something...
You might want to pray to Rovagug first.
I'm going to pray to Rovagug.
Alright.
And ask if I can sacrifice myself or do anything for the great Lord of Lord, darkness of all darkness.
She says the whole arm is going to have to come off.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, I'll cut my fucking arm off.
Alright, you spend your time in the valley the next several hours with whatever blades you have. You're going to use your great axe and just hack at your arm.
Yeah, I'm going to use my great axe.
Alright, use your great axe of Rovagug and hack off your arm. I need you to do a heal check to stop the bleeding after you hack off your arm.
Okay. And I have a mythic level of Cure Light.
Okay, I'll allow that also. That'll help as far as healing the wound and stuff.
And the mythic version, the damage cured increases to 2d8 points of damage plus 2 points per caster level, max of 10. My caster level is only level 2.
Alright, so we'll assume that heals up whatever damage you do from chopping your arm off. You're still going to be bleeding though, so I need you to roll a heal check just to bandage it up with something.
Alright. I got a 18 plus 2.
Alright, that's good enough. And we'll assume you use some of the spare cloth you have from your clothing or some other article of clothes you have, and you wrap up the area where you just chopped your arm off. You are now a one-armed hobgoblin, no longer affected by the Mark of Judgment, but stuck in the valley of these mountains now with only one arm. You can save the other arm for food or to use the bones for weapons or whatever else you want to use them for, but it's your arm, so you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, I have my backpack. It's all my
Yeah, you have all your stuff, so you can probably throw it in your backpack and fold it
I'll
up.
throw it in my backpack.
Alright, save your arm for later.
And see if... I mean, is there salt and shit in the trail rations I can put on the meat so, like...
Yeah, we'll assume you have something to salt the meat of your arm if you like.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. You salt your arm meat so it's cured and safe and you put it in your bag. Got it. Save it for jerky later.
Exactly. I got
Yeah.
jerky geeks in
Make
there.
some Vortiga jerky.
Some Vortiga jerky. But,
As long as it's not from your rotten crotch.
yeah, my rotten crotch of death.
So now you have a rotten vagina and only one arm.
That is true. I think I'm going to actually try and head towards Cranagus.
Alright, you head towards Cranagus.
And I'm going to summon with my one hand a horse and try and perform a ride check.
Alright, we'll assume you can still ride a horse just fine. It might be hard over some of the mountains. So give me like 3 ride checks just to ride over the mountains to get back into the plains of West Linya. Let me pull up West Linya, see if anything else weird happens while you're there.
That's going to be a 2 plus 5, so that's 7. I might need to search that. I don't do 2 mythic points, and I only have 3 left.
What'd you say it was?
It's 7 right now, but I think I'm going to search it.
Okay.
That was awful. That's only going to be an 8.
Yeah, so that's not great. So you have trouble riding the horse up the mountains. You're going to fall off, and you should roll me a survival check up in the mountains.
Oh, shit. That's going to be a 3.
All right.
But I am a Highlander,
So you have some resistance to some of this stuff. You are from this area.
Yeah,
but you are very cold, very exhausted, and very hungry.
Yes. So I'm going to eat some of my trail rations. I still have 4 days left of trail rations.
All right, you eat some trail rations, regain some of that energy. You can try to climb back on your horse with a ride check and move on.
Yes. I got an 18 plus 5.
All right, that's enough to get back on your horse and ride down this mountain. And that was how many ride checks did you already roll?
That's my second ride check.
So you have one more, yep, to get out of here.
And that's going to be a 12 plus 5.
All right, so that's enough to get you to the top of this mountain. Roll me a perception check on your way out of the mountains.
That's a 19.
All right, so as you're leaving the mountain range, this final mountain is very tall. You can see from this area a couple small hobgoblin and goblin encampments dotted throughout the mountains from this vantage point. So from here, you kind of know where a lot of the smaller camps of goblins and hobgoblins that live in these mountains are.
Does it look any familiarity to my home village?
Well, like I said, your home village moves a lot. They move with the food, because it's a hunting village, and with wars, they move to fight too. So that it's a garrison that kind of picks up and moves. The building styles all look very similar, goblin and hobgoblin, so it's hard to tell what's what. So you see 4 different camps, but they all look very similar from where you are. But from where you are, you can see 4 camps back in the mountains, back the direction you just left. But those would be goblin or hobgoblin camps. You would kind of know the location of. They're likely to move in the next couple of days.
So this mountain in particular has a vantage point over Bubarus, you said?
Well, it has a vantage point over the rest of that mountain range. You can kind of see what's going on from here. It's taller than a lot of the other mountains, so you can kind of see what's going on in all the valleys and stuff from this angle.
Alright,
You reach the edge of the mountains. There's a forest between you and Cranagus, and a great road past the forest that leads into the city of Cranagus. Do you want to head through the great forest?
can I do a perception to look and see, like, if the road looks... I guess I couldn't perceive, like, booby traps on the way without going down the road. So, I'll just go through the forest.
All right, you go through the forest. Roll a percentage chance, see anything happens to you as you travel. 74. Oh, yeah, you get an encounter.
Exactly.
Leaving the forest, you see 4 pallid, humanoid, wispy creatures with strips of skin hanging off their bodies and bits of detritus, and you can smell the stink from where you are. So some kind of disgusting, undead-looking monster, pretty much.
Alright, well, I'm undead, too. So, can I do a perception to see, would I be able to perceive if they could, like, do scent? Or if they're, like, more of a visual creature?
They seem to be more, they don't seem to be sniffing or anything. They seem to be mostly using their eyeballs to look around. But they've already spotted you. You're at about, yeah, you're pretty far away. I mean, you're still at the base of the mountains, and they're at the edge of the woods. So you're about 100 feet apart, but they definitely see you coming down from the mountains. And you can definitely tell they're wandering towards you like you seem like you're some source of food for them. They look like mummified corpses almost.
Alright, well, I'm undead, so I'm going to summon a distraction of an animal.
Okay.
They would probably rather have living flesh up, I would assume. But I assume nothing in D&D. I don't know what the hell's happening. I'm going to summon a small pony.
Alright, you summon a small pony. They all head towards it, and you see them all clinging on to it and feeding on it very slowly. But all 4 of them seem to be very slowly, just taking like most of them have just taken one bite and then it's clung onto it, and they seem to be just gnawing on it very slowly. So you've distracted all 4 of them with this pony that they are now trying to eat.
Okay, I'm going to try and stealth check and get away past them.
All right, roll it.
And that's going to be an 8 plus 5. So that's going to be, what, 13?
13. One of them seems to notice you, but let me roll a percentage chance to see if he remains distracted by his meal. He does not. So one of them breaks away from eating the pony to chase after you because you're more humanoid, and that seems more delicious to this one at least. So one of them breaks away and starts walking towards you as you pass the outskirts of the forest.
Well, I mean, what's their movement speed look like? I mean, are they fast moving or just like lethargic?
They move about the same speed as normal humans, 30 feet per round.
Okay. I am going to use one of my favorite spells and cast Obscuring Mist.
Alright.
Not the mythic version, just the
Just
regular.
regular? Are you casting Obscuring Mist to try to throw this thing off your trail because it is perception based, so we'll have trouble seeing you? So you're able to use that to aid in getting away?
Yeah, I'll wait to cast this next one if this doesn't work.
Alright, you seem to have lost it in the fog.
Alright.
So you think you could probably get away
Yeah, I'll
and
get
head
away.
to the road?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Alright, you head to the road. You head to the road just outside of Cranagris. As you near Cranagris, it's a very large city. You've been here before, but it's so huge and so magnificent that even from far away, it's imposing.
It has the massive wall, right?
It has a massive wall, and inside it's flashing with lights and like magic fireworks and stuff. It's mostly casinos and resorts. A lot of people come here to live like a king. That's like their slogan: is "Live like a king at Cranagris." It's everybody's castle. That's their slogan.
Is it bigger than Darling Metropolis?
Oh yes, it's way bigger than Darling Metropolis. Darling Metropolis pales in comparison to Cranagris.
Is it the largest city in the world?
Probably, it's probably the largest city in the world. They would definitely say so.
Yeah.
Gambling's very encouraged there. And as long as you're a big spender, they give out free food and drinks. You know that. You've been there a couple times before for vacation, so as long as you're gambling, they feed and wine and dine you. And the more you gamble, you can get different VIP access, expert services, invitations to stay at the Cranagris Towers, and things like that. But you know that before you enter Cranagris, you know you're going to have to pay 1,000 gold.
Oh, do I know any Cranagris Mafia connection or any back tunnels or anything that can get me into the Mafia?
Yeah. You know some people there from the HBI, but the Cranagris is like a layer above the HBI. They're like the bosses of the HBI. And so you don't really have any ways into the city other than through the front gate. And anyone that enters the city's got to pay 1,000 gold just to enter. But whenever you pay the 1,000 gold, you receive one Cranagris chip, which you can use to gamble with. So every chip here is worth 1,000 gold. So you pay 1,000 gold, you get your first chip, but you have to have at least one chip to enter the city.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it's a gambling town. You have to have at least have intention to gamble once when you enter. So that's why they do that. So make sure you gamble at least one time.
Would be to wait outside and sleight of hand, steal someone's chip or some shit like that. Obviously, but
Yeah.
is Nevercrooks close by?
Yeah, Nevercrooks is just south of here.
Well, I'll go to Nevercrooks then.
All right, let me pull that up. All right, so you head south down the road towards Nevercrooks, also known to some people as Hellport.
Yeah.
Let me see percentage chance if anything happens to you on the way there. This time you're able to make it safely. You arrive safely at Hellport, or Nevercrooks, Nickervacooks, however you want to pronounce it. So yeah, most people here are fiends, so a lot of people with demons or devils in their blood, so they're twisted physically. So everyone here is pretty ugly, so you fit in fine here, even with your arm missing.
Nice.
A lot of people move here to escape the torment of living in the ordinary world, and they want to release demons in the world because people have scorned them. So a lot of them worship demons and devil ancestors and consider it a high honor to be raped by a demon or devil whenever one of them is unleashed, which they do often here. They try to release devils, and so that they have fiend children born of devils, and that's a high honor in this society. It's a city that's full of lawyers and advocates and lots of contracts and
court cases, a lot of lawyers. It's a pretty boring town, really, other than the fact that the HBI is located here.
And the giant hell pit.
And the giant hell pit is also here, correct. But yeah. But they're all about evil souls here, and, you know, they feed on... They would rather feed on a good soul rather than a neutral one at any time. So they're always trying to convert people to their side, which they did whenever you were a teenager. They converted you to their side. You joined the HBI. Their headquarters is located in the center part of Nevercrooks. You could head there right away if you like.
I would.
All right, you arrive there. Flash your ring at the entrance to get in. They allow you inside. What do you do from there? You can go to your office. You can meet your boss, whatever you like to do.
I'd like to go to human resources.
All right, you head to HR.
Company's new arm.
Exactly. I'm a complaint file and workplace grievance.
All right, so you go to HR at the HBI. You fill out a long form, of course. It's always a lot of forms for these people. So you fill out a long form. You wait in a long line. You're there for probably a day and a half, filling out forms and waiting in line before HR finally sees you. You walk in with only one arm and one arm in a backpack, and you probably slam your one arm from your backpack down on the table. And what's your grievance?
Well, I mean, I've done well. It's not as much of a grievance as it is like I get like workers' compensation.
All right, so you're here for a workers' comp claim.
Yeah. Like,
All right, they see your arm. She notes that there's a mark of judgment on it, and that you cutting it off was the right thing to do, because you having the mark of judgment would prevent you from doing your work. So this is definitely a work-related injury that you had to do. You had to do this to continue your job. She notes that on the form. Everything seems on the up and up. You seem to have done everything right. She says if you wait 2 to 6 weeks, they can get you a new arm.
I'd love to wait 2 to 6 weeks.
All right, you waited out in the HBI 2 to 6 weeks. We'll let you spam time there while you get fitted for a new arm.
Sounds perfect.
And we'll move on to Pleek Norfidgets. Out walks an Aranci, Osk, that you've met before. And Morgan, you know it's her because she saw her go in, but she's now covered in blackface and her face has all been cut up. She seems to be in some sort of disguise. Alarm's still going off. They head back into Southport. What do you do?
I'm going to follow them in the shadows from a distance.
All right, you follow them into Southport from a distance?
Yeah.
All right, you see them sneak into Southport. They seem to linger at the graveyard for a moment, and then they head to the tavern.
I'm gonna try and get a view, climb up to that spot I was looking at before, since I can't go into the graveyard, to see if there's something going on in the graveyard.
All right, it seems when you follow them to the graveyard, they seem to be just looking for Cersei. If you're able to roll a perception check and be able to, that's all you're gonna hear, no matter what.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you hear that they're looking for Cersei, pretty much.
Oh, I'll follow them to the bar, I suppose, in the shadows.
All right, you follow them to the bar. You probably feel like it's not a good idea to follow them inside because you're supposed to remain hidden. You're supposed to just keep tabs on them. So you can hang out on the roof of the bar and just see what happens.
Sure.
All right, so you hang on the roof of the bar. Morgan and Osk go into the bar. They're in there for a while.
Is there a skylight or something?
Not on this. This is the one building that has a roof on it, unfortunately, in the whole town. After a while, they do come back out with Vortiga, and they head to the Holy Library, just about 100 feet away from the bar, which is open all night long. And you see moments later they're starting a fire there and fleeing with what looks like a very large book on the back of a horse and bringing it back into the bar.
Okay.
And you notice this, and then moments after that happens, several guards come chasing after them. And you hear several gunshots. You don't know the outcome of the fight, but you did hear several gunshots, which you know Morgan carries a pistol. That's how you guys first met. I was on the road with her pointing a pistol at you.
Yeah.
So you hear several gunshots and can assume that it was Morgan that fired on these guards. And no Morgan, they're never brought back out. The guards never reemerge, so you can assume what happened. But you see more guards kind of scurrying about trying to put out the fire, and more guards headed this way.
Is there another way to the caverns other than the bar entrance?
Not from the Southport, no. There's the Westport entrance and the Northport entrance, and not from this area. Yeah. Each town only has one entrance to their caverns.
Okay. So, because I'm guessing that that's where they went if they're not coming out the front door, going out the back, which is underground.
Safe to assume.
Is there an opening? Can I go into the bar now? Is there a gap between guards? Jump into the bar? Or is that...
You feel like that would be dangerous, and if they are inside the bar still, it would totally blow your cover.
Sure.
So, you're supposed to remain undetected.
Okay. Well, in that case...
You do still have control of their 10 drow army guards that they have, in their hut. Those guys technically still work for you. So you can always go back there and take control of them or make them do something, but...
I mean, they're not with them anymore, though, right? So...
Well, they're in that hut, which is going to vanish pretty soon, but they're still under their control or employed somehow.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go over there and see if I can get anything useful out of them.
Alright, so you return to where the hut is, which is now vanished. And there are 10 gear-forged drow soldiers kind of milling about, waiting for orders. You see them. Roll me a perception check.
That's a 3, so...
Yep. You don't see a whole lot then, unfortunately.
Alright, well, I will approach them with caution.
They recognize and salute you as Drow leader Pleek Norfidgets as part of the elite.
And I ask them, where's their party? Yeah.
And they tell you what they know, that they headed back into town looking for their adventuring partners. That's all that they know.
What are your orders for meeting back up with them?
They have none. They were just left here. And their commanding officers fired a gun indoors and then left, and then they don't know what's going on really.
Party correct.
Sweet. Okay. Well, if they went underground, then I suppose I should follow them underground.
Alright.
So I will head back to Westport and go, underground via Westport.
Alright, so you head into Westport. You're able to get into the Drow Hall there very easily because you're part of the elite. You're able to get underground very easily and into their chamber. You do have to travel through the dangerous part of the Drow caverns first. So you have to roll a couple percentage chance to see if anything happens on your way through there. So far, so good. So far, so good. One more. Third chance is something. Let me see what it is. What looks like a medium emaciated creature that looks like its skin has been charred or dried. It has empty eye sockets that seem to be like smoke billowing out of it. Let's see how many there are. There are 2 of them in the caves ahead. They are about 40 feet away. And they do seem to have noticed you. As you've been wandering through the caves, you seem to have stumbled upon them.
Okay.
How many are
There are 2.
I'll have Norbit stay heading straight. I'll steer Harriet up the wall and onto the ceiling.
Alright, so you send Norbert into fight. Let's roll for initiative. Norbert versus these 2 Bodaks. That's going to be 10 for the first one, and 10 for the second one, so it won't be hard to beat.
6, 9, 14.
Alright, so that gives Norbert first attack on these 2 Bodaks.
Alright. Norbit's just going to lunge at one and bite it.
Alright, roll. Plus BAB.
17.
Alright, that is a miss. Now the Bodaks get a swing. That's going to be a 14 versus Norbert's AC, and a 15 versus Norbert's AC. He's not wearing armor though, is he?
Yeah, I don't.
So this is probably 11. This is 10 plus natural. So those are both hits on him. So that's going to be D8. Which is this one? So he takes 9 damage, or 11. He takes 11 damage. And he also needs to make 2 fortitude saves.
Yikes.
Alright.
Didn't know what the fucking fortitude.
I'm going to go ahead and assume you missed both of those.
Alright, well then he dies.
Oh,
Okay.
shit!
Yeah.
Well, I was sort of using him as a distraction while hearing
All right.
him run across
So
the ceiling.
they are distracted. So you want to flee across the ceiling while they're killing Norbit?
Yeah.
All right. So you flee past them.
Fine with that.
We'll assume they were distracted because they'll feed on him afterwards.
Yeah.
So you've sacrificed Norbit to the Bodex and escaped into what is the Drow part of the interior caverns. You have a map there.
Yeah, okay.
You came from Westport, so you're over here in the
I'm
draft.
here.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I want to have potato salad, so I think the fastest way is to cut through the passage to Elite and up to the Infinite Spider spawning ground.
I mean, you're elite, so we'll assume you have no trouble traveling through most of these caverns unless you don't go any of the weird areas. So you're able to make it fine. Down into you're going to Southport, right? To the Southport Caverns?
Yeah, so
Alright, you make it to the Southport Caverns. I'll roll 3 times before you reach their chamber to see if you make it there safely. 1 time's fine. 2nd time, minor. It's not a monster, but there is like a cave-in. So I need you to roll a reflex save to dodge damage from a cave-in.
5-4.
Alright, you dodge the damage from a cave-in. Third when you miss, you arrive at the Southport Drow House. That's the Antumbra House, I believe. You arrive at the Antumbra House, and as you arrive, you see the group that you were following looting the Antumbra House. You see several dead Drow on the cavern floor. And then at this last moment, you see Dangi Antumbra, leader of this Drow House, flash into existence and release a spirit to chase after them. So here we are, caught up in time with you guys. Pleat Norfishes is witnessing a spirit being called upon to chase after you. At this point, you guys can decide to all flee on your dragon, or you two stay in flight and let the 2 that are not here flee on the dragon since they can't do anything.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. Can I roll a perception check?
Yeah, to see if you notice Pleak? Yeah.
I got a 13.
Alright, roll me a stealth check to try to beat 13 there, Pleak. You rolled a 14, so yeah. So you don't notice Pleak hiding in the corner. You're too busy looting and being chased by a spirit.
Alright.
Got it.
I've got an idea. I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to hex the Scorching, the spirits. Because, will save.
Alright.
That
I rolled a 22.
will do it. Alright. And that's it for me.
Alright, well,
I'll give you a turn there or 2 lives before the spirit does anything.
I just don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, so with the spirit, can I like gust of wind it?
It's incorporeal, so wind doesn't affect it.
Oh.
Not just like lighter than air, it's actually incorporeal. So no, wind will not affect it, unfortunately.
When all else fails, try a gust of wind. If that doesn't work, then just tune in next time for some more long-distance Dungeons & Dragons Inner Theater.